I keep seeing Dean. I keep feeling Spence. You know, those two guys. You see them. Story had a wonderful play from sideline to sideline. They had a screen play running down the sideline. I think Jaquindon Jackson is a player. He's tough. Second and 6. Got stood up, got 2.5 more yards on his own, got it down to the 2.5 yard line. Not a lot there, and went ahead and scored. So he's a guy. I thought Braylon Russell's a guy that is going to be a good player for us. And I thought our back 7, R-Dub, and things of that nature on defense. Secondary wise, I thought we tackled well today. We did give up a long pass for a touchdown. I think it was maybe Talon Green to, I think, Satagna down the line. It was really a super throw. He was running to his left and put it right on the money. So came out fairly healthy. That's our second. We had 18 plays our first week, and then 24 today. We have to find out who can tackle and who can break tackles. But I love the team. I like their attitude. Shipley made a 52-yarder in practice on Thursday, and I don't believe he missed any today either. So with that, I'm ready to talk.
Just overall, 5 practices.
What are your thoughts on Talon? What have you seen from his strengths and things that you'd like to see him get better at?
Well, his main strength is that he can lead a football team. That's his best quality that he has. He's obviously extremely fast. Throws the ball well. His accuracy is going to continue to improve. But he can really run, and he's got great leadership. He can throw the football too. Accuracy, obviously every time we throw it, myself, Bobby, him, we won't throw it right where we want to throw it every single time, But I'll tell you this, 5'2", 88 today. I mean, there's some guys that are making some really good catches as well, but he got great leadership. You can just see how the players look at him on both sides of the ball, and that's his biggest quality. But he's doing well.
I was going to ask you about that. We know obviously the regular characters at wide receiver. Everybody's back who caught a ball last year, but 88 Dozier seems like he's really starting to pick it up these last few practices.
He did. It was a fantastic catch today for a touchdown down in the red area. Jordan Anthony is out there now. He's behind. We've got to get him caught up. You have those older guys that you just spoke of. Tesla made a catch or 2 or more today. But we've got to get to, Desmond James I didn't feel him as much today, but he has played well. And, in that receiver core was Gums. Gums has done a nice job in there. So, but we've got to get, I'd like to get to 9 that you think you can go in there and win with. We're not there right now, but I think we're closer to that number than closer to 1, so I think they'll keep working. It's really fun, Trey, to see these young kids grow, and he's one of those.
Seems like Coach Petrino was a little bit more fired up today. Did you notice that at all, or was it, business as usual with him?
No, I didn't really notice it any. A lot of times in games and then more of scrimmage formats, you're going to be a little bit more excited. You're going to be more in encouragement instead of teach mode. You may, because let's face the facts, every play that we called today, offensively and defensively, we've repped a whole bunch. So we're expecting both sides to perform at a high level. And when we don't, I think, it's not like sometimes when you put new things in and install and they make a mistake or they don't throw it correctly or they don't go their first read correctly, you can kind of live with that and you're going, okay, I'm in teach mode. Today was every play that we've run several times, both sides. So you're going to get a little more frustrated when it doesn't click like what you'd want it to. But no, I didn't notice a whole lot of difference in him.
Jalen Braxton, I think, has had 2 or 3 interceptions the past 2 practices.
He has.
What have you thought of him?
He's a really good player. Player with a lot of confidence. I think it goes back to the 7.5 weeks of training. He was a good player last year, but he's a good freshman. And but every single sprint that he would be either won or tied for one in every sprint. Whether they're all for time, but you know, he may have 5 seconds left in whatever that time was, and he's not going for the end of the time. He's just running. And I think it says a lot about him. He's got great leadership skills too as a young man. But he's a really good player. We knew he was, and it's just going to be exciting to see him grow. But what he does, he makes plays just like the Florida game and things that he makes plays. He's a ball hog.
Said in your
pre-spring press conference that you're going to tackle more. A little bit of a maybe a philosophy change, and you just have to have more toughness in spring, and you know the players just got to deal with. We're going to have more tackling.
I think there's 2 or 3 reasons behind that. One is that I wanted a physical football team, and I don't believe that you can be physical if you don't do something physical. And going back to that, and you might say, well, why didn't you do it before? And before we had a little bit. Well, we have done it, but then the one spring I didn't. And we had a veteran team. I knew what we had, things of that like that. But it's the same way with the weight room. I thought it was harder this year than it's ever been, and you can't become tough if you don't do tough things. And that kind of is our philosophy with practice. We have battles at linebacker. I just don't know how in the world you can figure out who can play linebacker if you don't let them go make plays. And like today, you saw Dean, there was a gap of, I don't know, maybe 3-yard gap in there. If Dean doesn't make the play, then JJ walks into the end zone. Here comes Dean. He makes a play in space. They run a screen. Sorey runs from middle of the field to the sideline and blast Jaquindon. The great thing about it, they both got up smiling, you know, so did Jackson. And sometimes if you don't do that often, they lay there for a while. You know, they don't have the feeling of what it takes to be tough, get up, go back to the huddle. So that was a little bit of it, but primarily it was for the toughness, and we have so many battles that we have to give the kids an opportunity to win a spot, and the only way I know how to do that is to play the game.
So you're
1/3 of the way through spring. I wonder how you feel like in terms of the objectives you had for these first 5, and now you got spring break. When does that start for them too?
Well, if they don't have classes, you know, start here Friday afternoon or whatever, could start today, actually, if they don't have class tomorrow. But we're going to let them completely off, and they'll be back a week from this coming up Monday and for our walk and all that. And then we'll practice from here on out. It'll be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, with it open to the public on all Saturdays. And the last week we'll throw a Spiders Friday practice in. Well, it'll be primarily about special teams at that point. But we're going to play a spring game this year because the reason we scrimmaged last year is because we didn't have enough. We had planned on fewer scrimmages, and so we needed a scrimmage in the spring game. This year we'll play a game.
And then where you are at this point.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like the progress that we've made from day one. We're out from January to now. I do like the progress. I like the team. I think you guys have been to practice. I think I don't know. I can't put words in, but you have to like the feel of the football team. We're starting to find out who can play, what we can do offensively, what we can do defensively. Now, when we come back, so I like where we're at now. We've got a whole different defensive front that we're going to look at. We need to. We're going to run it. We're going to go run a little bit of an odd package when we come back. not personnel wise, in other words, not taking a defensive end off, just finding that buck linebacker that we're going to need to have. We don't have quite as many D linemen as we had last year. We did experiment today a little bit with Landon Jackson moving inside. We did that on third down, and he's 285 pounds, so he'll be able to do that, especially on rush downs. And you could feel him out there in that third down situation. But special teams wise, I feel good because I think Shipley's done a really good job there. Punters are still in a battle, and snappers are in a battle. So I like where we're at there. Defensively, I think we're probably a little bit further along defensively than what I thought we might be after a third way through spring practice. We're tackling better than maybe I thought we would, and our young linebackers are a little bit better than what I thought they might be right now. And we're finding I like we need to find up front on the line. We need to find a couple more guys, to be honest with you, to get us to 8, where we think we can go win with all those guys. I do think they're on our team. I like where Morgan Wiggins has been over the last 2 practices, after his, injury of the ankle. But I think we found some tackles. I think we found a center or two, so what we're looking for, I think Eric Mateo's done a wonderful job with those guys, and we protected a little bit better today, and we ran the ball after the first 6 reps. They ran the ball a little bit better.
Sam, you had a couple, I think on third, when you were doing the third down drill, some screens that got the first
Yeah.
down. Is there anything specific maybe about, this offensive line or the backs this year where that could be a bigger strength maybe than it was last year for you?
Well, I think you have to do them. I think where we were talking about offensively, we're getting so much internal stuff, wrapping blitzes, and they're edge problem unless you're dropping back, and we can handle that edge. It's hard to contain Taylor because he's so fast, but those are great screens to run whenever you're getting some type of internal, or if you're just getting zone, if you have your wideouts are decent blockers. But we kind of got out of jail free on a couple of those plays, throwing them out there. And I don't know that we have any better runners than what, they're all the same out there that's running the football. But I think Coach Fouts has done a really good job of the physicality of the blocking, and both of them look really good. I think they converted a couple third downs and got the first down there.
You mentioned Coach Fouch. It sticks out just how much he's communicating with the whole offense. Was that something you knew coming in when you hired him? Is it a benefit of him working with Bobby before that he can kind of be maybe the second voice of Coach Petrino?
The thing about Ronnie is that he's really a good communicator, really good teacher, and Bobby. Whenever I hired him, Bobby said, "Do we have any availability for staff? Somebody on the staff?" And I said, "No, I don't. I don't right now. But if I have one, then besides offensive line, because I knew if Cody had left or whatever, that I was going to go after Eric. But after that, and so to be honest with you, I interviewed Ronnie, and he hadn't coached wide. He was running back coach, and Bobby swore by him. And I remember talking to Bobby. I said, and he said, Coach, he's a really good coach. He can coach wide receivers. He knows the offense. He knows everything. And it was a great hire, and not just a good one, a great hire. I mean, he's meticulous in everything he does, and he's going to be one of the best recruiters we have. He works all the time. Going to the running back, I asked all the coaches to give me names of guys. I had some, and give me names of guys. Bobby just gave me a name, gave me Colby's name, and didn't say a whole lot. I said, well, I'll interview him and this, that, and other. And then when he gave me the name, I didn't know they had worked together or anything like that. He just said, "Hey, here's a guy I'd like for you to talk to," and he was the best guy for the job. But the thing about him is he knows the offense too. So it's at the timing of all those things. I hired him because he was the best guy, in my opinion, for Arkansas that I interviewed. Nothing against the other guys that I interviewed. Same thing with Ronnie. But he came in and we're clicking pretty fast with him. And so I guess that's a long answer to say that they both know the offense really well. And there's a great advantage for that. And they know the verbiage. The verbiage is the biggest thing, the communication of the calls and things of that. Can become much faster when it's just rolling off your tongue other than, and when Bobby came in, I said, "Hey, look, I've coached O-line forever. You and Eric get together and figure out whatever the calls you want to call them. I'll learn them. It's rolling off of your tongue. I'll learn the calls and we'll go from there." And so that's what we did. And I think that's helped us all communicate. I'm the only guy that really had to learn it.
Colby, just how have the running backs kind of adjusted to the sudden change at position coach? And then how have they kind of adjusted to his presence here?
I think, I don't know, a roundabout way with portal and all that kind of changes happening all the time. I don't know. So I will say this, when I talked to them about it, they said, "Coach, I trust you." Jimmy was here for 4 years, but he wasn't here with 4 years with all of them, with Damo. And they said, "I trust you." And then I've asked them about, "Hey, how's everything going?" This, that, and other. And they'll say, "Oh yeah, Coach, he's done it. He's played it. He's energetic, all these type things, knowledgeable." And I think they ran extremely hard today.
Yeah, Coach. It seemed like today, Taylor Green and Isaiah Satania had a really good connection out there. What have you seen out of Satania so far in spring practice?
I think he's better than he's ever been. He's catching the ball better. He's running better routes. I think that's obviously that's a compliment to him. I think Coach Fouts has really done a good job with him. Sometimes you get a new coach, you get new life too. They see you in a different way, and that's not a jab at anybody. It's hard for me to talk and just talk plain, and then I'm jabbing. I'm not jabbing nobody. I just saying I'm pleased with Ronnie and all that. But he's made tougher catches. He's bigger too, and he's a little more physical than what he has been. In other words, taking off those jams, running through those jams that they're trying to do on the first level. But he made a big time play today. It was a big time throw as well. But he's done that about every day of spring practice so far.
I know your numbers on offensive line are probably a little bit lower
Yeah, they
than
are.
what you'd like. So probably a couple guys there. And you mentioned defensive line, maybe not as many guys you had last year. I think I've got you at like 80 scholarship guys right now. So 5 spots, and depending on what happens in spring.
You're exactly right. We're at 80. You never know. You're sitting there trying to figure out how many scholarships you have. And last year after spring, we lost one. The big exit is, in December for most teams. And it's been that way for us. Last year, we lost one. So we're planning on 5 and recruiting to 8, but if it was 5, we certainly need a couple of offensive linemen, and I'd like to have 2 big inside guys, and then the next one would go for a linebacker. If it gets any more than that, then we can start talking about other positions. But right now, we've got to get 4 bigs, and to me, we really need another linebacker. And that's when you say that, you're people take it as you're not good at this and this. I like our football team. I'll take our football team right now, but we have 5 scholarships, so we're going to go use them and try to better the football team.
You said 2 big. You mean 2 defensive tackles?
Yeah.
At linebacker, your numbers are good there, but is it just a fact of like 7 of the 9 that you got or first or second year players, just trying to get somebody a little more veteran, maybe?
Exactly. Yeah, a guy and where he stacks on a depth chart is important, but not quite as important as just bringing some older guy that's seen it before and things that we don't want to sign a guy that's not going to play for us, but he doesn't necessarily have to be. Now, if we can get one, we would, but he doesn't have to be, Dick Butkus, coming in here. He just has to be a guy that can help us in those four.
Antonio Greer type, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coach, I think in the first 11-on-11 period, maybe some low snaps. Was that, I know it was sprinkling, a little wet during that time. What, any concern there?
No, none at all. We haven't, you guys been out practice. We haven't had snap issues, at all. I would have to say that it had some, and it was good to have a little wet ball and things of that nature. I'm trying to quit saying that. But we started, I think, 2 of the first 3 plays, we had some type of snap issue. But no, it wasn't after that at all. Speaking of that, I think Nichols has done a really good job. He hadn't played that position until he came here. I like him. I like Wiggins behind him too. So I think we've got 2 centers and keep going back, I like Edmondson. He's done a nice job, but no, I'm not really concerned at all. Not at all about that.
You briefly hit on Shipley a few times, but I was wondering if maybe you could just expand on seeing him kick the past few days and having him step in for a guy like Cam Little, who is so consistent for you.
He's just very accurate, very. I don't know that he has. Maybe he does. We haven't put him in anything past 52, but he made that one pretty good. It wasn't like, oh, did it go over? It was probably 7 deep past it. You guys that were here yesterday saw Cam Little kick, and he hit a 62-yarder, and I think it was at the top of the goalpost when it went through. I don't mean the bottom. I'm talking about the uprights. Very few people in the land have a leg like that. I guess that's why he's left early, and he should have. It was a good decision by him, but Shipley's just very, very accurate, and that's what you need there.
Thanks, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you.